Hello, Apollos fans, and thank you for tuning into the first episode of the Take Aim podcast, the official podcast of the Orlando Apollos. My name is Sean Green, and I'll be your host of this podcast. And on the call with me, all the way from Jacksonville, is our team reporter, Tom Alexander. Tom, how was your trip yesterday?
It was good. I got up here this morning and hit a little bit of traffic, but otherwise the trip was nice and smooth from Orlando.
Now you have the day off today, correct?
The players have the day off. I don't get days off.
Oh, okay. I see you.
News never sleeps.
Exactly. So first, let's talk about the hard-fought game on Saturday against the Memphis Express. As you know, the Orlando Apollos defeated the Memphis Express 21-17 at Spectrum Stadium. So coming into the game, Memphis was 0-2. They were desperate for a win to get the ball rolling in the right direction for their season. Tom, do you think this factor played into how tough Memphis was to beat and come out with a W?
I'm sure it was a factor. Memphis had a strong defense coming in. They were second in the Alliance in sacks coming into the game. They had Stacy, who was tied for the league lead in rushing coming into the game. So I mean, they were a better team than their record indicated. They just barely lost to Arizona the week before, so they could have easily been 1-1 coming into this game. So definitely was a factor being hungry for that first win for sure. And anytime Mike Singletary's coaching a team, it's you don't want to take them lightly.
And yeah, I think that was one of the most surprising things about the game is the talk of the game was Stacy coming in as the leading rusher of the Alliance. And really, the Apollos stopped him. 14 attempts for 29 yards. How do you think our defense was able to hold him to so little yards?
Well, I think first, our front seven is one of the strongest in the Alliance. We have tall, fast, athletic linebackers, and our D linemen are big, and they all have high motors. Plus, Stacy was a known quantity coming in. There, we knew they were going to try and run the ball a lot with him, so I'm sure our coaching staff schemed against that. And while they were able to stop him, the Express had signed a brand new running back that week, Sherman Beatty, who had almost 60 yards. There's no telling what would have happened had he gotten the ball more than Stacy did.
No, yeah, and I think we didn't stop the run. Like Spurrier said after the game, they moved the ball a little better than us, but it was more of the factor that just Stacy was held to so few yards and gave opportunities to other backs that maybe the Apollos didn't see with Memphis. But let's talk about Garrett Gilbert real quick. I think everybody knows in the Alliance he's the talk of the league. Clear front runner for MVP so early in the year, 3 weeks in. But he kind of had his first off game throwing the ball, going 14 for 28, only 50% completions, 270 yards passing and a passing touchdown. But he showed his athleticism running 7 times for 43 yards and a touchdown. Do you think that kind of shows a different dynamic from his game and how he can help win games in many different ways?
Yeah, I think so. I think absolutely. I think we all knew he was athletic coming in and was able to maybe extend plays in the pocket and had good mobility. But he's now a legitimate threat in the ground game to gain yardage on zone reads and read option plays and all sorts of different design runs for the quarterback. And Coach Spurrier said at his weekly news conference today that may be something that the offense starts to put into the game plan each week. Our design runs for Garrett. I think it was even a surprise to Coach Spurrier that Garrett was that good of a runner. So
no, yeah, I think a lot of fans were surprised at the game too, especially up in the box. People were really surprised that Garrett Gilbert ran the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. It's sometimes coaches think that certain things are open, and they try and take advantage of that, and that's what happened, especially on that 21-yard run. And I think everyone thought he would just get the first down, and then he broke 3 tackles and made it into the end zone. Yeah. It was a really impressive play.
No, it was really impressive, and it was the turning point of the game because after that, we got the ball back after he scored that touchdown, and we ran the ball out, ran the clock down, and basically took a couple knees to end the game. So if that running game, obviously the past 2 games, the running game has not been as efficient as we would like it to during the game. But for some reason, in the last 2 minutes, these running backs on the Apollos run that clock out and basically end the game. What do you think is not working during the game, and why the offensive line and the running backs are so efficient those last 2 minutes?
Even Coach Spurrier, when I spoke with him this morning, wasn't sure why it's not working early. It's the same backs, it's the same personnel, it's the same guy calling the plays. So it's difficult to say why things might not be working early, but certainly late in the game, Coach Singletary said in the post-game news conference that his guys got a little tired. The two running backs who gained the most yards for the Apollos, Dearness Johnson and Davion Smith, are both very physical runners. And so when you've got a tired defense and two very physical guys, that leads to second effort yards, that leads to yards after contact, and things that can extend runs. And that's exactly what the Apollos got in order to kill those last 5 minutes. And I'm sure the same thing happened against San Antonio the week before.
No, yeah, exactly. And we got to hope that at some point that running game is going to start to pick up and they're going to find maybe that one back that can take the blunt of the carries. Now, Dearness Johnson had 13 attempts for 79 yards and a touchdown, and Akeem Hunt only had 2 carries the whole game. Do you think it's going to be going on a week-to-week basis, who's hot, who's not?
I think it probably will. Coach Spurrier has said Dearness certainly played well enough to get the start in week 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, he had the best single game performance of any Apollos rusher so far this season. 79 is a high for the team. And, I think the week before, in the game against the Commanders in week 2, the entire team didn't really run the ball very great until the fourth quarter. And then Dearness was the only running back that was really able to gain any positive yardage on the ground against San Antonio. So clearly he's doing something right. So Coach Spurrier will stick with the hot hand, but he always likes to say, we're going to play the best players. We're going to give everybody a shot, and the guys who give us the best chance to win are going to play. So I wouldn't be surprised if things change as the season goes on, because every season has peaks and valleys.
Exactly. And moving to the defensive side really quick, Terrence Garvin has played out of his mind at home with 3 interceptions on the year. Is he the clear leader on the defense? And what makes the defense come up so crucial with even Keith Reeser taking some of the cornerback snaps and coming up with a big interception last game?
Yeah, I think this is a defense with a lot of experience. I think just about every single one of them has NFL experience. So these are guys who have played against the best players at the highest level of the game. They're well coached. Our defensive coordinator, Bob Sanders, spent 17 years as an NFL assistant coach. So when you put those two things together, you have smart guys who can process advanced concepts of our scheme and really just start to fly around out there. And as almost every defensive player I've spoken with this season has told me, once guys start flying around, then you can make some plays. So they're able to come up big. And, it's conditioning and it's the natural speed that we get from having so many allocated players from the state of Florida. And, Terrence himself was a safety in college, so he has great ball skills to begin with. He only became a linebacker when he got to professional football. So he's got great ball skills. He's still got speed, and he has height. We have all of our linebackers are 6'1" or 6'2" and taller, which is unusually tall for a linebacking core. So that gives them the opportunity in the second level to maybe snag some balls that other teams' linebacking cores may not get to. And, those balls then might end up in the third level of the defense and become completions, or become overthrown. So, there's a lot of factors that come into play, but certainly being experienced and being athletic are two of the top ones.
Now, this week, the Apollos take on the Salt Lake Stallions, who are coming off a big win against the then undefeated Arizona Hotshots. If I don't talk to you again this week, what do the Apollos need to do to end up with a W this Saturday?
They're going to have to overcome some colder temperatures than they're used to. In San Antonio for training camp, we dealt with some cold weather, but the forecast is going to be probably in the low 40s, if not colder, in Salt Lake City. So that's always a factor when you have a team from a warm climate playing in the game. The other would be the Stallions offense. The Stallions have a pretty good passing attack. Josh Woodrum, now that he's healthy, has solidified their quarterback position. And their head coach, Dennis Erickson, knows what he's doing. He's actually never coached against Coach Spurrier for all the years they both coached in college football. Wow. And even, when Coach Spurrier was at Florida, Coach Erickson was at Miami for quite a while, but they've never coached against each other. So you're going to have two of the best minds in the history of the game scheming against each other, so to speak, this weekend. So it's not going to be an easy matchup, but the coaches will have a solid game plan, I think. And I think what this game against Memphis proved is that the Apollos, even if they don't play their best game, have the talent and the experience to overcome that adversity and still find a way to win. And that's what good teams do. That's what championship teams do. So if they stick to their game plan and they don't let the mistakes get in their heads and create more mental errors, then they should come out of Salt Lake City with a W.
Awesome, Tom. Thanks for coming on. I'm excited about being able to talk with you every week to get the inside scoop on what's going on with the team. And have fun with the first week of practices up in Georgia.
I will, Sean. Thanks a lot.
And thank you guys for listening to the Take Aim podcast, the official podcast of the Orlando Apollos. Again, my name is Sean Green, and if you haven't yet, subscribe to the Orlando Apollos YouTube page and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at AAF Apollos. Make sure to follow Tom Alexander, our team reporter, at the Tom Alexander on Twitter, and follow me at Sean Green __ on Twitter as well. All right, we will see you next week, and hopefully let's get a win against Salt Lake.